Hello and welcome to my chapter 13 lecture. I want to start off by apologizing about my tardiness in posting this lecture. My computer crashed and I had to get a completely new one, and I lost all the PowerPoints that I had prepared. And so I kind of had to scramble to get things back up and running once I got a new computer this week. So I apologize for that, but please bear with me. I've got the next lectures coming. Okay, so this chapter is on technology and information resources. And looking at career centers, they are physical locations in which various types of career-related information are stored. And the career center can house information and accommodate a number of students or clients who need assistance from the information or a trained person. And career centers can be on college campuses, they can be private practices, different kinds of things. So in looking at three roles of a counselor, beyond, of course, keeping our clients safe, we are responsible for, or it's desired that we identify credible sources of information. We help clients gain access to information that is relevant to the issues that they're having. And we also help them to make effective use of the information that we provide for them. So digital revolution made a big difference in terms of being able to provide clients with resources. Everything was a lot of paper, card catalogs, libraries, things like that before laptops and the internet and Google and all these different things. So after the digital revolution, a lot of change brought a lot more ability for counselors to rapidly provide resources, as well as provide resources more greatly, especially as we've seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot more digital counseling has been available and taken place. So much more cost effective as well. So looking at types of information, we're looking at four different kinds here. So we've got occupational classifications systems first. And this is going to have the standard occupational classification system, which is considered the national gold standard, the Dictionary of Occupational Titles, the Occupational Employment Statistics System, and the U.S. Census Occupational Classification System. So the SOC, again, the Standard Occupational Classification System, is a category of jobs that are similar with respect to the work performed and skills possessed by the incumbents. A job is a specific set of tasks performed by an individual worker. For example, a turnpike toll collector is an example of a job that corresponds to the occupation 41-2011 cashiers. Okay. So in looking at the SOC system, these are some important things to think about and to know. The United States government has a system of classifying occupations that is their gold standard, which is the SOC system. And government agencies collect occupational data through it. It's got work that is performed for pay or profit and reflects current structure in the United States. The current version was published in 2010 and includes 840 occupational types that are organized into 23 categories. So that's kind of breaking it down a little further. So there's 461 broad occupations, 97 minor groups, and 23 major groups. So each occupation receives a numeric code. And if you look at table 13.1 in your text, you can see more information about that. The first two digits represent major group A, the third digit represents minor group B, and the fourth and fifth digits for group C. And then the sixth digit represents the detailed occupation D. Okay, and then you can see some different examples here, right? And so these 21 dash, these numbers would be things that would apply to us as counselors, counselor educators. Prominent occupational classification systems. You can see who developed those here, as well as some different classification systems that exist, some of which may seem familiar. So the RIASEC model for work environments, right? Holland's occupational classification system is something you guys have been exposed to this point, which can be used with your clients for career counseling. There's also ACT's World of Work map that's useful with middle school and high school students, and it displays results with the ACT interest inventory and is included with the ACT achievement tests. There are also national career clusters that were developed by state specific systems. And so if you look at table 13.3 in your text, you could see these 16 career clusters of different kinds of careers that exist out there. And, why would this be useful to know? Well, if you have a client coming in and they don't know what they want to do for work, maybe it's a college student, they're trying to figure out their major, or maybe this is someone, maybe they've been in health science and agriculture for 30 years and they're just bored of it and they want to do something totally different. Being able to go broad scale and say, here are 16 areas. Does any one of these draw your interest? You can help narrow down what they might be interested in. Now looking at occupational labor market information. So occupational information is information about what any given occupation entails, and labor market information is information about projected demand and compensation for workers in a given occupation. The NCDA, which is the National Career Development Association, has content guidelines that should be used to guide your selection of information, resources, and your evaluation of their credibility. So you want to look at, is it descriptive? Does it have requirements? Does it prepare? Is there labor market information? Are there recommendations? These different kinds of things. For federal information sources, these are some different websites that you can use with your clients to be able to help them with finding work. And one of the really cool things about Onet's got information on all these different kinds of things that a client might want to know about with regard to a job. So education, job zone, work values, wages and employment, these different kinds of things. As for searching for occupations by interest, you can use one onetonline.org, and you can use it in this way. These are the instructions. I'm not going to read through all of those, but you could pause it and use these instructions. And then here's a way that you can also use Onet to search an occupation by values. Right. And then also by abilities is another opportunity to discover if something works for a client. Maybe they've got only one arm or one leg, or maybe they have intellectual disability, or maybe they have a learning disability. And searching by ability would be very useful for clients that might fit those characteristics. Okay, and then so for Onet skill search, this is another way that you can use Onet, is looking at skills that might be needed. And so maybe you are trained in all the Microsoft Office different applications. So that would be something good for you to search by Microsoft. Or if you've got engineering program experience that you've learned how to use different things, or maybe SPSS for doing statistics, you can check those things as skills. Okay, you can also do an abilities and skills search. And then here's some abilities that you can look at that can be used for identifying jobs that work for particular persons that meet certain abilities. Okay, and then here is a way that you could use the profiler results. You can have clients review the career suggested by the ability profile results and identify careers that he or she might be interested in. And they can even type in the name of each occupation in the occupation quick search to go figure out whether or not those things are not a good fit. You can also search by personality type by using your Myers-Briggs type indicator results. So that would be ESFJ or INTJ or whatever the letters are that someone gets as a result. And you can use Onet to be able to search that. What are jobs that fit my career or fit my Myers-Briggs type indicator, my personality, which you can even just simply Google jobs for an ESFJ. And funny enough, that's my Myers-Briggs, and ESFJ, the counselor is the name of it. And what am I? I'm a counselor, right? So using your Myers-Briggs can be a good place for just brainstorming. You don't have to pick something that's on the list, but it's a way to kind of maybe even just rule out what isn't going to work. For labor market information, these are some different things you can use these different websites for statistics and just for plain old information. Career One Stop is also a great resource that can be used. It's an all-in-one government site that provides a lot of great information. Other major information sources are state information, CIDS, and you can also look at National Occupational Information Coordinating Committee. There are 37 state-based CIDs that exist that can also be utilized. Some commercial resources for information. You've got all of these here. And the thing about this PowerPoint is it's a lot of resources that are being given to you, which hey, knowledge is power. So these are different ways that if one website doesn't work for a client, you have more to try. You've also got some computer assisted career guidance that can be used through these different websites or through these different programs, or the Cooter planning system is also, there's a Cooter test that you can do as well. Other sources of occupational and labor market information, classroom presentation, career days, field trips, informational interviews, job shadowing, simulations, work experiences. And then with all of these things being said, you know, maybe encouraging your clients to try different conferences or different career days, going to different kinds of things. Don't only go to technology, don't only go to math, don't only go to language arts, don't only go to liberal arts, don't only go to whatever, just trying to get out there and broaden their horizons to get exposure to what they do or don't want to do. Some clients may come in, I know exactly what I want to do. I want to be a doctor. And then they take their first biology class and like, no, I don't want to be a doctor. Or they come in and they have zero idea and they take one class, like, I want to be an anthropologist. That's it. I'm done. Like, I decided that's it. Right. So different clients can have different experiences with school, with work, all these different things. And it's just good to know a variety of different ways that clients can get information about different jobs. As for education and training information, it's important to consider post-secondary education and applying, selecting, and paying for that education. Not every job requires a degree beyond high school, but there are some jobs that do. One of the phrases I say to my clients often is, hey, if the job that you want to do requires a degree, go get yourself one, right? Not every job requires that, but some do. So like for me, wanting to be an educator for counseling students, I need to have a PhD in order to do that, right? Also looking at post-secondary education, for figure 13.10, you can see more information there. There's a strong positive correlation between educational attainment and earnings, and there's a strong negative correlation between educational attainment and unemployment rate. So that's to say the more education, the more earning potential you have, and the lower the education, the higher the unemployment rate is what that is saying. So education can be a really important thing, just depending on the field that a client wants to go into. College education searches. So these are some different college resources for any college students that you might work with, things that they can use to research that. And then other post-secondary options, you can look at military, apprenticeship, and training. So apprenticeship might be like a tattoo artist, that could be a welder, it could be becoming an esthetician, or going to cosmetology school, these different kinds of things, internships, and you can also look at vocational schools and things. And then lastly, looking at skill building and job searching information. You can build confidence with your clients by helping them build their skills, right? So you can help them with building interview skills, help them with gaining typing, help them with communication skills, help them with being organized, help them with networking, help them with how to negotiate, all these different kinds of things that are listed on this site, or listed on this slide. One of my favorite things to do with clients actually is to help them buff up their resume, because a lot of people don't know the rules about, don't use present tense descriptors for past tense jobs, right? Like things like that. And so it's an opportunity just to educate and help people with formatting and grammar and those different things, and help them make a good first impression with a resume, which is something a resume can do, is help make a good first impression. Because if a resume is disorganized, what might that communicate to your employer? Well, if they can't even organize a resume, how can I expect them to be organized on the job, right? So helping equip them with things like that can be really, really helpful. And then some job searching resources it's got here: America's Job Bank, Michigan Talent Connect, Indeed.com, LinkedIn, and then some others here. One of my favorite things I've recommended with clients, and I've seen it be pretty useful, is if they're not sure what they want to do for a job and they're trying to figure it out, is to go to any given website for searching for a job and put in a particular income that they want to make. Maybe they want to make $50,000 a year, whatever, and make that the only criteria that they select, and then just scroll what kind of jobs are available and just see, because they might be surprised to find that something's a job that they never would have thought of would have been a job, but it is, and they can get paid for it. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And they might actually love it. And so it can help them with finding a job they can actually be excited about, instead of maybe only dreading the one that they have, or the ones that they think that are only available to them that don't excite them. So that's the end of my lecture for chapter 13. And thank you for listening. See you in the next one.